Hey, Lyoko Warriors, this is Captain Yeet here for you for the CodeLyoko episode review. This is going to be CodeLyoko Season 2, Episode 10, titled Marabounta Redo. So, let's get into it. So, the beginning of the episode starts off with a theme song. After the theme song, we go over to Mrs. Hertz's classroom, and Mrs. Hertz is telling the whole class about, well, not specifically a certain type of ants, but just ants in general. Ants can lift, like, what, 10 times their body weight. They work in a colony, so they can all work together to take on really big enemies to get food for the not for the high, but get food for the colony. They can do a lot of crazy things just by themselves and also working together because they work together as a colony. Whilst he's breaking down everything ants can do, we see Jeremy thinking really hard and long about something. We get into later on what he was thinking about, but I do like this one shot of him just looking and thinking about something. Odd does crack a joke saying that a whole army of ants is basically a whole army of sissies. That was a little funny. Org does also ask if there's anything specifically called a killer ant. No, there's not according to Mrs. Hertz, but there are, ants, so they can bite you, so you should be careful. Sissy does also ask, hey, are there any ants like that around this area? She goes, oh no, these ants only exist in the South Africa regions where they call them Marabounta. She said the episode. And I'm like, what? They don't have any type of ants or anything like that around the area they live in. I didn't think about this before. I just always assumed since I was a kid that CodeLyoko takes place like in the US, but it might not. I didn't really think about that because Sissy goes, "Oh, thank goodness I live in a country where nothing bad happens." Obviously, that's supposed to be a joke, but I'm like, what? I don't know where they do live. I always assumed the U.S., but I mean, they could live, in Canada because this is a Canadian show, or right? No, 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 no. It's a French show. It's a French show, but it doesn't take. I know it doesn't take place in France, or is it Canadian or French? I think it's French, right? I forgot. Oh no, now I'm gonna see like I don't watch this. I do watch it. I know it doesn't. I know it's not a U.S. show. It's in a different language, and they had to change it. It's I Canada's in my mind, but I think it's French though. But anyway, I don't know specifically where it takes place in the universe. I just always assume the U.S., but I mean it might not be. But I just always assume the U.S. Anyway, after that, we go over to the lunchroom, and Jeremy says that just recently he was able to decrypt one of those files from Frank's Hopper, and that file basically works like an anthill. And he starts to go in detail about exactly how it works, but Odd goes, whoa. We just got out of Mrs. Hershey's class. I don't want to hear about the whole science mumbo jumbo. And then him, Orc, and Yumi all start to laugh. It was also like a tiny little bit of a conversation where they were saying, Odd said he's like Saturdays better because there's no afternoon school, but Orc says he likes Sundays better because there's no school at all. So yeah, I'll probably say Sundays because you don't have school at all. But anyway, after that happens, Jeremy goes, "Hey, how about we all go to the factory after lunch and go look at the new program?" Now Oz says he can't because he has to go practice for a skateboarding competition. Yumi's gonna go to the pool after lunch. Alita says he has to study for some. I think it was French or not French. It was. See, he has to study for some sort of test. And Oryx says he has something else to do, and Jeremy goes, "What is it?" I have to go be at the pool. And when he's saying this, he's turning around and he's looking directly at Yumi, talking to William. So yeah, he understands they're both about to go to the pool together. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that one bit at all. So he's gonna go to the pool to go watch them. Now I do want to show this one shot of Aelita because ever since I was a kid, I always thought this one shot looked really funny. When she says she's going to go study, I know it's like a big gag with people that don't watch the show that makes fun of Kolioko's heads and also in the fandom a tiny bit, because their heads are kind of wide. Some characters wider than most, but their heads are kind of big, right? But in this one shot of Aelita, I don't know why, but her head looks weirder. And it kind of looks like an alien head, like the classic, gray alien. It kind of looks like that. I don't know why, because at least it is to me. I guess tell me if it looks that weird to you in this one specific shot. But every time I've seen this since I was a kid, I'm like, what's going on in this one shot? Like, what is happening? It was always so funny to me the way that looked. So so we go over to Jeremy inside the factory. He's starting up the program. I mean, he has a bunch of books off to the side about ants. And then we go over to the pool. Now, while they're at the pool, everybody's in their swimsuits. They're swimming around, having fun. William jumps off the diving board. Yumi's looking at him. She looks really impressed. Oryx sees her looking impressed, is not happy. Oryx, Orc is not happy at all because she starts to collapse. She goes, "Oh well, it was impressive. I mean, he jumped off a pretty high diving board, but still, Orc is not happy about that. He's like, what? Oh no, yeah. Oh, that boy was furious. And so he starts to walk over to the diving board. While he's walking over to the diving board, we also see Nicholas, Herb, and Sissy. You know what Herb is wearing? I mean, because No, no, no. Sorry, Nicholas. It's Nicholas because Herb is Wait. Oh, sorry, I keep getting confused. Nicholas is the blonde. Herb is the one with the glasses. I don't know what Herb is wearing. Now, Sissy's wearing like a normal bikini. Herb is wearing like a normal swim trunks. What is Nicholas? It basically looks like underwear. He's basically like he's just wearing some underwear. Like, what are you doing? Why are you wearing just basically underwear? Like, what's going on? It was also funny too, is you see them both standing outside of Sissy's dressing room. What are y'all about to do? Now, Herb not doing nothing. Maybe Nicholas could, he can box a little bit. We saw last episode. He went, wow, he punched the mess out of Herb. I mean, out of Nicholas, but I don't know what they standing outside her dressing room for. Like somebody might bust in. I mean, I guess they could, but they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing. Like standing in front for no reason. Anyway, Oric, he also goes to the diving board. Yumi and William both notice that it's Oric, and he jumps off. But then when he lands on the diving board to go jump again, his foot slips and he does a really mean belly flop underwater. Everybody runs over to see if he's okay. Oh no, this is really bad. Sissy, it was kind of funny because Sissy was in the back of the crowd because the whole crowd forms around Oric to see if he's okay. And William, he's the one that got Oric out the water and put him on the ground. So a whole crowd forms around Ori to see if he's okay. Sissy is just pushing people out the way. Stop, get out my way! Move! It's my Ori! That's my Orc. You guys have to move, move. And then Yumi, she walks over to Orc and she's about to give him mouth to mouth. But before she's able to do that, Jim runs over and tells her to move out the way. He actually has certification to do this kind of stuff, and he gives Orc mouth to mouth. And obviously, Orc, he's not too happy about that. Now, it's not like a long, drawn out mouth to mouth, or Jim does one big puff and he's able to wake up. It kind of seemed like Orc was awake this whole time because when Yumi goes over to give him mouth to mouth, we see Orc eyes open up really quickly and then close. I think he understood like, oh, I'm about to get a kiss from Yumi. But then when he saw Jim, his eyes did open and close. I would have got, oh, Jim, I'm okay. I'm okay, Jim. I would have done that instantly. I don't know why he didn't do that. But yeah, he doesn't feel too happy about what just happened. So he walks away. Then we go back over to Jeremy. He's able to activate his program, the Marabounta. And we see this black sphere, like the tar monster from. Well, the tar monster's not a black sphere. We see like this black tar, goopy stuff like the tar monster from Scooby Doo form in Lyoko, and it starts to produce a bunch of black goo from itself. This is specifically what it looks like on Lyoko, that black goo substance. Yeah, see, and it just starts to form more and more of itself. Jeremy's really happy he was able to finally get the program working. Now, Jeremy has said this multiple times, and he even said this in the cafeteria that this is Frank Hopper's program. Now, he's made some tweaks to it so it can specifically work in a certain way, but this is more objectively Frank Hopper's program. But after he's able to make it work, we go over to Odd walking into his room, and not Alita, Orc is there. Now, Orc is looking really mad. Odd asks him what's the matter. He doesn't want to say anything, so he goes, okay. And then Jeremy calls Odd to come to the factory. He's about to go. He goes, hey, come on, let's go to the factory. Orc doesn't want to go. He goes, okay, that's fine. You two can just stay here by yourselves. Orc's kind of confused. He goes, what do you mean, you too? He goes, you and your bad attitude, and closes the door. Then we see Alita and Odd both walk into the factory. I love this one shot when the elevator doors open. They're just standing next to each other. I know it seems kind of lame, but I love shots like this so much. Whenever it's two people or one person or just the whole group, when it's like a simple shot like this, I love it so much. I'll never forget. I can't remember what episode it was. I got to go back to my original CodeLyoko episode reviews, but there was this one episode where there was a lot of shots like this, where it was just like two people standing or three people in a cool way or just in a normal way, and every 2 seconds I would pause it, and I kept thinking in the back of my mind, man, whoever's gonna watch this video is gonna get so mad because I was like, okay, Jeremy is about to die. We have a gun to his head. Oh, team shot. Turn the camera around. It'll be a shot like this. Turn it back. Okay, now team shot. Like 2 seconds, it was something like this. I kept turning the camera. I was like, man, I don't know who's gonna watch this, but they're gonna get so bad. Anyway, Jeremy showing off the Marabounta program to Anna and Alita, and basically it works just like an anthill. That black goo that you saw before is going to constantly keep spreading around Lyoko, but it's only going to attack Xana's monster. So whenever they go to Lyoko to deactivate the tower, all of Xana's monsters are going to be have to deal with the Marabounta, and they can just walk in scot free straight to the tower. It's genius. Now Odd and Jeremy seem really happy about this, but Alita, she looks very concerned. She goes, "What if there's a bug in the program?" Jeremy goes, ah, nah, it can't be, because Frank's Hopper made this, and he's a genius. Hog goes, yeah, he's right. You know what? We should go to Lyoko and check out the Marabuta. Jeremy goes, you just read my mind. So I walks over to the elevator while Lita, she stays next to Jeremy and she's looking at the computer screen and she looks very, very concerned. Now Jeremy notices this and tells her, hey, if there's anything wrong, if anything bad happens, I'll shut down the program instantly. But for now, let's just go to Lyoko and see how it's working. And she goes, okay, yeah, that's fine. I did like that. It was also funny because I was so it too. It was just so funny how big his eyes get. He was like, hmm? Okay. Like Alina just felt something off. Oh, you know what? I didn't think about this. Now, later on in the episode, we do figure out why she felt something off. Well, not why, but there might be a reason why. Because the reason why the Marabuta program doesn't really work out in this episode is because of the virus stuff, you know? And what if that's why Alita felt something off? Because the virus that's in her head with Xana, it was like, like, oh, no, no, like maybe that's why she felt off? I don't know. They don't actually say that, but that'd be a cool reason if that is the reason why she felt off about it. Because, in all intents and purposes, from what they were seeing on the computer, it seemed good. It seemed really good, so it didn't really seem too bad or anything. But I mean, hey, I guess it's whatever. So anyway, we go over to Lyoko. Odd and Alita see a crab running over to where the Marabuta is, so we start to follow the crab. And then we go over to Sissy and William. And I love this scene ever since I was a kid. So Sissy and William sit down next to each other at a bench with the drying off with the towels. And Sissy asks William, "How long have you been in love with Yumi?" He goes, "Well, he goes, well, forever, since forever." She goes, "What? You only been here for a few months." He goes, yeah, but don't you believe in destiny and true love? Two people that are made for each other, like soulmates? She goes, no, not really. I loved Oryx ever since elementary school, and I want to date him. It's as simple as that. I don't really believe in fairy tales and destiny or anything. But if it just wasn't for that stuck up Yumi. And then William goes, if it wasn't for that big shot Oric. And they both look at each other and smile. And then Yumi comes over saying that she wants to leave because she's getting cold. I always love this one scene because, this is sort of just basically Oric and Yumi. One of them is a bit older, not that by that much, one of them a bit younger. Now William and Sissy never saw that they liked each other, but I always thought that, oh, maybe they should get together besides, Sissy trying to get with Oric because you see that too. And I also thought when I was a kid, I felt kind of bad for Sissy because, like she says here, kind of wild. They've known each other since elementary school. I didn't know that, but I always felt bad for Sissy in this one moment as a kid because she says she loved Orc ever since elementary school, and they just never dated. I mean, if they dated and didn't work out, that's one thing, but they just never got together. And I always thought, wonder why that happened because Orc never knew Yumi until somewhat recently. Not like in the last few months, but in like the last year or so when they found out about this whole Lyoko business. He known her for that long. He didn't know Yumi back in elementary school up until Katak Academy. So, oh, actually, does Katak Academy have an elementary school? I mean, I know Tamia and Millie are pretty young, but that's not elementary. I guess they do have an elementary part. We just haven't seen, huh? I don't know. But anyway, she liked her. I mean, liked him for so long, and nothing happened. I felt really bad. Now, obviously, Sissy is Sissy. Her personality not really the best, and also she's kind of mean and green, so it kind of makes sense why. But still, I was like, oh man, that's kind of sad. That's really sad. But I did used to think that, oh, maybe they should get together instead of her trying to pursue Yumi and vice versa with William trying to get with uh, wait, no, Sissy pursuing Oric. I said that wrong. Pursuing Oric. But yeah, I used to think about that. So anyway, we go back over to Lyoko, and the Marabuta is killing off Xana's monsters. We literally see the Marabuta program is this black goo. It jumps onto Xana's monsters, consume them, drag them into the goo itself, and then it explodes it. We see it kill a tarantula, the crab they were following earlier. It kills some of the hornets flying in the sky. Like, see, it just consumes them and then just kills them. I'm like, geez, man, that's. Well, actually, in the one shot I did show, it didn't kill it. It killed the crab all the way. Let me rewind it. So the crab. But yeah, everybody they're looking at it. So Alita sees all this happening, and she gets a little nervous. She goes, "Okay, Jeremy, I don't want to see anymore. I want to come back." He goes, "That's fine. There's a tower nearby. You should run to it." Now, when they start to run towards the tower, the Marabounta goo starts to surround Aelita and tries to attack her. Odd shoots the Marabounta with his laser arrows and they get away. And they yell at Jeremy like, "Hey, there's something wrong with your program." Now I don't know why they didn't just say off the bat that it tried to attack Aelita. Because at first Jeremy was like, "What do you mean something's going on? What happened?" He goes, "It's attacking us." He goes, "Why?" I mean, not Jeremy. Odd says, "Well, I did attack it a few times with my arrows." Well, no wonder. Like, no wonder it's attacking you. And then Alita says, "No, Odd had no choice. It was attacking me." So you just said that off the jump. Why did you like do this whole rigmarole spin around stuff, right? And Jeremy's really confused at why he would do that because he specifically programmed it to only attack Xana's monsters. But then he realizes, oh, wait a second. Alita has the Xana virus stuff inside of her head, and so it must be seeing Alita as a monster. So honestly, the program's working all fine and dandy. Literally, the only bad part is that, it sees Alita as a monster because of the Xana virus. That's pretty bad. So Jeremy does try to terminate the program and shut it off completely, but the Marabuta does not want to die. It just stays here, like Akaza from the Demon Slayer movie. He gets his head chopped off. No, I'm staying, and his head starts to grow back. Like does not want to die. That boy does not want to die at all. Yeah, this is a scene specifically where we see the Marabuta consume the crab and it kills it. The other scene I showed, we just saw it. We saw the monsters attacking it, but we didn't really actually see it kill anything. But yeah, this is pretty bad. This is a pretty bad situation. So Jeremy's starting to call Oric and Yumi to come help. Now he calls Yumi and Oric. Oric's not answering the phone. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. And he calls Yumi. He goes, "Hey, we need you at the factory. Something bad is happening." I called Oric, but he's not answering. Yumi obviously understands completely what's going on with Oric. So she goes, "Okay, I'll try to get Oric. I'll be on my way." And so then we go over to Odd and Alita, and when we go back over to them, they get to the tower they were supposed to get to, but the Marabuta covered it in itself, so they're not able to get to the tower. Now, the whole tower itself isn't covered in the Marabuta goo, but the bottom of the tower is, and that's the only way to get into a tower. Well, actually, no, I could have sworn I saw a scene where they get in. No, 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 no. You have to go through the bottom. Yeah, you have to go to the bottom. I don't think I've seen a scene actually when they go to the top. If I did, I can't remember it vividly. But most of the time, you have to go through the bottom, and it's covering the bottom up, so it kind of knew what it was doing. So now they can't get to it. Now Yumi does go over to Orc and tells him, "Hey, I understand why you feel bad, but it's not really anyone's fault. I mean, obviously it is embarrassing." She goes over to Orc and tells him, "Obviously it was embarrassing what happened, but nobody told you to come to the pool to stalk me." He goes, "What are you talking about? Come on, Orc. I'm not dumb. You were stalking me." That's number one. Number two, you can't be sulking and feeling bad, for the rest of your life. Like nothing really crazy happened. That's number two. Number three, Odd and Lita really needs your help on Lyoko. So stop sulking and get your butt in gear. And then she slams the door and Orc doesn't move. Then we go back over to Odd and Alita, and let me not get ahead of myself. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. Okay, yeah, no, nothing really crazy happens. Okay, so then we go. Oh no, no, actually, I got ahead of myself. No, yeah, okay, okay. Now I'm at the right spot. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Now I know where I'm at. An and Alita are fighting off the Marabuta, specifically just An because he has the laser arrows. But while he's fighting off the Marabuta surrounds Alita and An can't get to her. Xander summons in a crab. The crab kills herself by grabbing Alita, throwing her off to the side. Then the Marabuta consumes the crab and kills it. Now, obviously, they're both really surprised, like, what the heck? Why did that crab just sacrifice his life for Alita? And then Jeremy goes, well, it kind of makes sense. Alita needs to stay alive so Xana can take her memory, so Xana can't let Alita die. So for right now, for all intents and purposes, Xana's going to help us. And then we see a few roasters, a few blockies summon in, and they're surrounding Alita and Odd. Now, like he just said, they're not attacking Odd and Alita, they're helping them fight off against the Marabuta. So Odd gets side to side with a block, they start to shoot at it. That is crazy. Like this moment had my mind blown as a kid. Xana is helping us. Yumi's able to get to the factory. There's not a lot of time to tell her what's going on, so she goes straight towards the scanners. It's also really funny because as soon as she gets to the scanner, she gets into Lyoko. When she lands in Lyoko, she kills a block. Alita tells her, "No, no, stop! Don't attack them. Attack that goo stuff." She goes, "What is that goo stuff?" But I used to think it was so funny because I wonder what was going on in the monster's head. Like, hey, what are you doing? What happened to you? See, like if the monsters could talk, that'd be so funny to hear them. You're like, oh, jeez, you just shot me. I'm trying to help you. What are you doing? obviously Yumi, she's like really surprised that the monsters are going to help them out with the Marabuta stuff. But I mean, hey, that's what's happening. So then we go over to Oric, and William comes in his room. And this is a really cool scene. So William comes in just to check on Oric to see how he's doing. And now Oric thinking that he's just coming in here to gloat because since this whole thing happened with Oric at the pool, that means William can swoop in and sort of swoon Yumi. Now, yeah, he could do that, but no, he's not doing it. He's actually kind of concerned with what happened to Oric because he did slam underwater pretty hard. And he goes, hey man, what's your problem? Oric goes, you're my problem. He goes, oh no, no, that's not the problem. The problem is me being around Yumi forces yourself to ask a question, a really hard question that you can't answer outright. Now you should go talk to Yumi from the heart, or I will, and then I will really be your problem. And then he walks out, and that makes Oric really think. And I'm like, yo, that was good. That was a really good line. 'Cause yeah, with everything that's happening here, Oric soaking, not trying to push you, well, not trying to push Yumi away, but sort of pushing Yumi away, being all mean and green. William could easily take advantage of this and swoop in, but he's not. That's actually showing some character. He can tell that obviously, they kind of like each other. He is trying to swoop in, but he's not about to take advantage of this to swoop in. He's like, look, you should go talk to her because if you don't, then I definitely will, and then then Orga have something to be mad about. I mean, I guess you can still be mad about what happened at the pool, but still, yeah, that was a good line. I like that part right here. So we go back over to Jeremy, and he's trying to figure out exactly how to take down the Marabuta, but he can't. And he's calling himself an idiot. I can't believe I made this. I'm like, Frank's Hopper made it, but it's whatever. But Alita says, Jeremy, it's okay. There's no way you could have known that my virus could have been the problem. But then he goes, wait a second, a virus? That that just might work. So then he starts to work on a new program. I like this one scene with Yumi. It's a really simple scene, but she throws both her fans at the Marabuta goop. And when she does that, both her fans have to spin around and cut into the goop and then fly out. Now, yeah, that sounds kind of boring. It sounds kind of simple, but cool little scenes like that. I always liked them since I was a kid. Like, look at that. We see the fans just spin around and go into the Marabuta. Yeah, see, like, it's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy, but I thought that was really cool to me, even now. So I just want to show it off. But while they're fighting off against the Marabuta Goop, we see Orc like we get those two scenarios spliced together. So we get one scene of Orc running towards the sewer, then we go over to them find the Marabuta. Then we see Orc in the sewer skating on a skateboard, then we go over to them find the Marabuta. Like for the next like minute or so, that's what just keeps happening. I like this other scene too, to where Odd is giving out call outs, like, hey, make sure we can't give the Marabuta any leeway, keep firing at it. Because if we don't keep firing at it, it's gonna come around the rear and get us. And you mean like, whoa, you sound like a pretty good army general. Like, you're just giving us some good call outs right now. He goes, yeah, it goes with the territory. Yeah, I don't know, but that was good. I like that scene. I like this one shot too. I was just standing next to each other. So then after that, let me go back over here. Okay, yeah, I almost got hit on myself. After that happens, Jeremy says that he was able to make a virus to finally kill the Marabuta, and he put the virus in one of the laser arrows, well, no, in the very next laser arrow that Odd is going to shoot. So he goes to shoot it at the Marabuta, but he goes, no, no, you can't do that, Odd. You have to specifically attack the sphere, the very first sphere that was the circle sphere thing. You have to shoot it at the very first circle sphere thing that I sent to Lyoko. That's going to kill all the other Marabutas if you kill the original. Well, how am I supposed to get there? All this Marabuta goop is everywhere, but then a crab comes over to the side and kneels down. I goes, oh, okay. So he gets on top of the crab, and the crab is just running through the Marabuta goop. The Marabuta is consuming the crab more and more, so Odd has to hurry up and find the Marabuta goop. I mean, find the Marabuta circle and get on top of it. This was cool. Him riding on top of a crab. I mean, this kind of stuff has happened before, but the crab is letting him doing it willingly. Like, that's pretty dope. That's really cool. Eventually the Marabuta Goop takes out Yumi. Org is able to get there, help them fight off the Marabuta Goop. Odd is able to find the Marabuta originator, shoots the laser arrow into it. It does a giant explosion that kills all the Marabuta stuff everywhere. And then all the enemies that are left turn around and take a bow to Alita and Oric. Now, obviously, Alita's really surprised that they would even do this, but Oric tells them not to take this too lightly. I mean, not take it too lightly, but don't believe it. Yes, Xana is bowing to Lyoko warriors right now for thanks for killing the Marabuta, but obviously tomorrow he's gonna try to kill us. Like, this isn't gonna be a long term friendship. He's gonna try to kill us literally tomorrow. He's just thanking us today. But yeah, this isn't gonna be a long term thing. So don't take it too lightly, man. I mean, don't take this like to the heart. And Jeremy goes, yeah, that's true. Now I did kind of wish as a kid that it was every single enemy that we've seen throughout the series do this whole bow thing. But it does kind of make sense why it wasn't every single enemy because I guess a hornet. I mean, I guess a hornet could bow, but obviously at the same time, how could a mega tank bow? You know, a mega tank can't really bow. I guess it could like spin in place. You know, I guess it could spin. I'm sorry, I'm laughing way too hard at that, but I guess it could spin in place or spin forward a little bit to bow. But yeah, I guess it could bow. But I used to think, oh, it kind of sucks that not every enemy was there, but I guess it kind of makes sense why it wasn't. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I will get some water. But yeah, they shouldn't take that too lightly. Here's another really cool shot. I think I showed this already, but I kind of forget when I'm gonna go get water. But here's another cool shot of that. So the other day, everybody comes out of Lyoko. They're all walking out of the sewers. And I cracks a little joke saying, hey, the next time you want to play Mad Scientist, how about you tell everybody? He goes, well, I kind of did. But everybody has something better to do today, which is also pretty funny. But it didn't. Jeremy calls himself an idiot again for trying to make a program like that. But I'm like, Frank Harper made that. Yes, he made a few tweaks to it, but it was mainly Frank Harper. But Alita tells him that, hey, the main thing is you were able to stop it. And that's the thing that counts, which is really sweet. They go back to Catholic Academy. When they go back, it kind of sounded like Sissy was trying to just be concerned for Oric because of what happened, but Oric thought she was trying to crack a joke, and she does giggle. So maybe she was trying to crack a joke, but she does bring up the Oric like, hey, are you okay after what happened at the pool? And when we go to them going back to their dorms, Odd asks them, hey, what happened at the pool? Nothing, Odd. And he looks really confused and he smiles, and that's the end of the episode. I'm like, yo. Now this is an episode, I think it's season 4, I think it is, in where they bring up the pool and nobody knows what happens besides from Oric and Yumi. And then there's another incident with Alita and Jeremy that happens, but nobody knows about it besides them and Odd, and they talk to Blush. I'm like, so nobody around the school tells Odd. I mean, obviously maybe Sissy won't tell him, but nobody talks about that. Like, hey, did you see Jim kiss Oric? Not like, a kiss, but then, nobody saw that. Nobody told Odd about that, which is kind of funny. Like, everybody just kept it hush hush for some reason. And I know I was probably gonna stop. Well, no, I was gonna stop showing my lamp off because I even asked in the video of All Grown Up. Oh no, a video before that, if turning the lamp off is going to be good. Oh no, yeah, it was All Grown Up, and Richie Poe said it was. So thank you for that because it was kind of because since I'm so close to the camera now, since I'm talking off to the side, the lamp is kind of in my face. But I got some new stuff as you see right here. I'm gonna pause it and bring it in closer. Hey, okay, so I got the stuff closer to me so I can show it, but whenever I turn the lamp off, well, normally I don't even bring the lamp out because since I'm not going to use the lamp anymore like that. But when I brought this stuff out to show you guys, when I put it up there on the couch, it looks so dark and I couldn't really see it too well on the camera feed. I'm like, well, I have to turn the lamp on so you guys can see it. Maybe it was a little too bright, I couldn't know, but most of these new videos we're not going to have the lamp anymore because it still looks really good without it. Thank you, Richie Poe. But I went out of town yesterday. Like I said in my Young Justice video, I went out of town because my mom, I said this a few times before, but ever since I was a kid, she had a brain tumor. Now, just recently, after all the surgery, after all these years and radiation, the brain tumor seems to be shrinking and going away. But every few months, they want her to, come to a hospital out of town. To just get a little checkup just to make sure it is still shrinking and going away. But anyway, we got there the day before, and that's why I couldn't record the Avengers video until like 11 at night, like literally like 10 minutes before, to like 20, or no, it was like maybe 15 minutes before the anniversary was gonna go away. That's why I was talking so fast in that video. But we went out of town to the hospital, and there was a comic book store, and I was walking around it, and there was a buy two get one free sale going on for everything in the store. When I was walking around, I found these comic books, specifically of the Sonic X DC crossover that they had last year. There's a few more books that's gonna come out with it, but you see Shadow as Batman, Silver Green Lantern, Tails as Cyborg, Sonic as the Flash. Because I've seen a few panels of it, but I never actually read it all the way through. And my original plan was to just find this random website with them on and just read it there because like some of the panels I did see were pretty cool. Sonic racing the Flash and beating him, them fighting Darkseid. But while I was looking around the comic book store, I found these comic books, and I'm like, oh, they look really cool. But I'm just gonna read them online. And I never really bought a comic book before. I just buy manga books. But then when I saw that each book connected to the next book like that on the like I saw it on the couch. I said, "Oh, that's cool. Okay, I guess I'll get them. They're only $5, so I guess I'll get them too." And I also found this Captain America pop wielding Mjolnir. You know I love Captain America. You know I love him, boy. I'm like, yo, this is dope. I gotta get him. I gotta get my boy Cap, and he's a bubblehead for some reason. Most pops aren't bubbleheads, but this one's a bubblehead. But yeah, I'm like, okay, so I guess I got to turn on the camera. I mean, I guess I got to turn on the lamp so I can saw it a bit better on screen. That's the only reason why I got the lamp on right now. But before we end it, I do want to sort of tar monster since the Marabounta kind of reminded me of it. Any excuse to bring up Scooby Doo, I bring it up. Almost any excuse, boy, any excuse. But here's a really cool shot of the tar monster and Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. I mean, come on, you can't tell me this wasn't dope. Gotcha. Yeah, but that's it for CodeLyoko. So, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. Thank you all for watching. I think all other human beings, and I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye bye.